Some of the sweetest people are from the hood. Some of the most peaceful people are from the hood. Some of the most creative, intelligent, thought-provoking, revolutionary people are from the hood. And reducing us down to the way that y'all reduce us, the way that y'all fantasize and glamorize about the hood, it's just really a disservice to yourself, not even just us.
What's up, you guys? It's the Double N, and welcome to another video. Welcome to the Double N's Bubble. We go ahead and talk about various topics, and we go ahead and share our opinions and try to teach everybody. So let me know in the comments something that you are afraid to say as a black person, but you're not afraid anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and share a couple of my opinions throughout this video, but I'm gonna share like a real thing that I feel like at the very end of the video. Like, I'm gonna get my little comments on these little TikToks, but I'm gonna share something that I feel like I'm kind of afraid to say, but I'm not afraid to say anymore since everybody's doing it. So let's jump into this very first video.
I never thought that I would say this, but y'all actually made me cry from this app.
Why?
I never want to get up here with tears in my eyes, but the trend, I used to be too afraid to say this as a black person, but then a lady said that she's scared around hood people. I ended up going down a rabbit hole and watching a few other videos and explanations of people who agreed with her statement. And I just came on here to let you know, you need to check your biases at the door. Check your bigotry at the door. Because what's happening is that you feel like this about hood people, and then you get into the workforce and you have to work with someone who's a hood ass bitch, just like me. And your biases show. Standoffish, blocking people's money, blocking people's success, because you are questioning why a hood ass bitch that you're scared of is excelling more than you are. And I've had this happen to me so many times from other black people. It's hurt my feelings so much over the years because I just want to know what it's from. But now I know it's that level of insecurity and that you're scared, afraid.
I mean, yeah.
I've had black people that I've worked with in the past question why I get paid the amount I get paid, why I have so much authority at this workplace. I've had them go and double check my work, something that nobody asked them to do. But since they think for whatever reason I'm not capable of doing a job, I've had other black people go double check my work that nobody asked them to do. And I really think it got to me this morning because I'm like, it's okay to have those feelings. I really don't care how you feel.
Well, why is
but when it spills over into the workplace and then the person on the receiving end can't pinpoint or can't verbalize why you're being treated the way you are from people who look just like you, it's disheartening. Y'all have these biases and y'all carrying them into the workplace. Y'all are teaching y'all kids this. It's carrying on into the schools. It's all around, all because you are afraid. You need to sit down and go speak to the lady. I read the comment and there's all types of ignorant ass statements on why you scared of hood people and why you scared of the da-da-da-da-da-da-das and this, that, and the third. Y'all sound just like white people who just base us on the color of our skin. Y'all are judging all people off of one experience that y'all had that one time y'all was in the ghetto one time. And let me tell you what ends up happening in my experience. I end up working with somebody for 3-4 months and he ends up coming up to me saying, oh, you're so cool. You're nothing like what I thought you would be. And then when I put a clear divide between us, I'm wrong. Now I'm standoffish. I have an attitude, all of these things because I don't want you around me because you judge me for no reason. And I don't like people like that. Then you run around with the rest of the brigade saying, I don't think she likes me. I don't think she really likes me. No, you judge me for no reason and I don't want to be around you. I don't care if you change your judgment of me now and you think highly of me. You should have never judged me from the beginning. And now you can never be around me. Now there's a clear divide. Now I do have the attitude you thought I had before. And now don't be around me. Don't try to be friends with me. Don't try to be chummy with me. I don't care if you both the only 2 black girls here and all that other stuff. Never judged you. I gave you a clean slate from the day I met you. You was just a human. And now that you show me your true colors because you judge me, I'm the wrong one. That's what always ends up happening. It's just, I want y'all to check your biases and your bigotry. I want y'all to figure it out. this out before y'all start passing this down to the kids. Because the ignorance is wild. Y'all are weird. I'm not telling you to let your guards down, but I'm telling you stop being so judgmental, because anybody from the hood know rule number one is as long as you mind your business, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be alright. And not for nothing, the people that y'all scared of, they could feel that you scared of them. That's why they prey on y'all. That's why they bother y'all, because they know who to play with. They could smell the fear coming off you. That's why they play with y'all like that. Anyway, check your biases. I'm not crying and I'm not mad no more. I never.
Dang. Okay, wait. I understand how she feels, like, you know, being judged for, like, you have a certain persona about yourself. You might not even be like that. You know how they say, like, some introverted people, like, if you're an introverted black person, like, you just can't be quiet without somebody be like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? Like, are you okay? It's the same way, I guess, what she's saying with, like, being hood. Like, people are judging her and thinking that she can't do nothing, like she's stupid or something. She can't do her work right because she's hood. But I want us to actually take a moment and analyze our energy. Where are we putting our mindset at? Why do we want to be considered hood? Why do we want being hood to be a good thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, she is defending it. Now she's saying that she does a good job, she gets her work done, she's successful and stuff like that. But why would you still want to embody hood? Because you know how there's certain words that have certain energies, that have certain frequencies, and it's like, why are you associating yourself? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Why are we embodying hood though? Why are we embodying ghetto? Like, I remember somebody saying, like, they like to be the cute ghetto. Why do you want to be that way? You know, and it's just like, why is this something you want to even embody and something you want to defend? Why can't you just say, oh well, I'm from the hood, but that doesn't mean that I'm hood. I might have grew up in a certain type of income bracket or in a certain environment, but it does not mean that I'm that way. And it's just like, why are you offended that somebody said they're scared of hood people? When typically, when you go to the hood, just like she said, like, if you don't look at them, they don't do nothing. But it's like, you shouldn't have to feel that way around people. You shouldn't have to feel like you can't look at somebody without them doing something and smelling the fear off of you like a shark. Like, you in the water and you bleeding and the shark can just sniff out your blood, know that you're prey. Why is it that, like, you can't just be around certain people and you just be cool? Why is it that you have to, like, look a different way so that they don't, like, sniff and feel your fear and prey on you? Like, I just feel like, doesn't that prove the point of why people are scared to be around hood people? Because you literally just said they go and prey on you. And it's like, if you're not that way as a person, you know, then why are you embodying hood? Like, sometimes I feel like we just take on the wrong things. Like, we be calling each other bees, we be calling each other hoes, you know, dots. We call each other the NIGGA. We literally took a serious racial slur and now we just call everybody that off of rapping. And it's like, I want to encourage black people to just, like, can we speak life into each other, speak life into ourselves? Because I get what she's saying. Like, she don't want to be judged just because she's from the hood and she has a certain type of personality, because that's just where she grew up from. So she embodies certain traits. So now people are being prejudiced. You know, people are judging her just because she presents a certain way. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's that way or she's not capable. But let's just be honest. When you watch this video, does she seem like a super, like, pleasant person? Or does she seem like the type of person that you would have to walk on eggshells around to make sure she don't get set off? I mean, let's just be honest, but I don't think it's okay for her to be treated a certain way, but you already still think of yourself as being hood, so you just kind of prove that person's point. I still need to get to that video that everybody's talking about, but somebody said, I'm sorry you've been treated this way. Somebody said, I grew up in the hood of Memphis, made it out of the hood, and stay far away from hood people, even in the workplace, because when most hood people see you excel, they want to bring you down. That's kind of true. Somebody says she's talking about crash dummies, not hood people. I agree with you, but just because you're a little afraid of somebody doesn't mean that you try to block their blessings. It just means that you're being cautious. Yeah. And somebody said, I think she was more referring to the groups of individuals who hang out and could potentially be up to bad stuff. Example, you see a group with a ski mask in 80 degrees. Not the people in general from the hood. Yes. Somebody said, what does that even mean? Yes, that's basically... When most people say they're scared of hood people, they're not just talking about regular people who grew up in the hood. They talk about people who present a certain way, have a certain personality. Okay? It doesn't mean that just because you're from the hood. I don't know. Sometimes people be picking fights. It's not even a fight to be picked. It's not that deep. You know? Okay? Certain black... Ooh. Bro, turn this off. Bro, that scared me. Somebody said certain black folk don't want real liberation. Oh snap, go back, guys. Certain black folk don't want real liberation, but instead leverage the black community as a means to advance in their pursuit of acceptance and proximity to whiteness. Somebody said P. Diddy. I said P. Diddy. P. Diddy and Jay-Z. Clock it. Why are people saying clock it, man? Clock it is one of those terms I don't know. It kind of sounds funny to me. But that is true. Some people do use black people just as a means to get advanced in their success, kind of like what that person was talking about with in the last video I did about this. They were talking about how people get successful. That's the real people you should be scared of, not the hood people. Someone said something I used to be scared to admit as a black man. If my homeboy did crime, keep him in a dang blasted cell. Ain't no free my dog. Oh, snap. I mean, that's true, though. Don't just be saying free my dog. I say it's so funny because I don't have that. Free my dog. Yo, my husband was like, there's certain things that I just can't say because I said free my dog. Let me stop. But it's facts. Okay, let's see. I guess this is the video that everybody's talking about, right? Let me see.
It said that they used to be afraid to admit this, but they're not afraid to admit it anymore. They get really nervous when they're around hood people. Now, I'm commenting on this because I am from down the hill. If you don't know what down the hill is, hold on. I suggest you Google it. Get familiar. I'm from Baltimore. Very hood. And I want to talk about this narrative that often comes when you are somebody from the hood, right? First off, a lot of people don't even associate with me with being from the hood because I have like degrees and I'm a therapist and the job doesn't like, some of the most peaceful, my brother and I are from the same hood, obviously. He is one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my entire lifetime. He's one of the sweetest people I know from the hood. Some of the sweetest people are from the hood. Some of the most peaceful people are from the hood. Some of the most creative, intelligent, thought-provoking, revolutionary people are from the hood. And reducing us down to the way that y'all reduce us, the way that y'all fantasize and glamorize about the hood, it's just really a disservice to yourself, not even just us. Beyond this being anti-black, which it is just like extremely hurtful when you say things like this, because there are people who come from the hood. We can't help where we're born, the circumstances that we're born into, but like to paint us like we are like people who are innately violent, or anything like that, to perpetuate those stereotypes, it's just wrong. When I was in college, I remember, people think I'm from everywhere except for where I'm from because they see me as an intelligent person, but I've been in rooms where, because people assumed that I wasn't from where I'm from, when Baltimore was mentioned, like, I would hear the most derogatory things from, like, people on drugs or violent, and you name it, and that's just really not the overall experience. Does that stuff exist in the hood? Yeah, but that exists everywhere. It's just only one group of people who gets demonized and dehumanized and devalued because of it. Do better, y'all, please. This person said they get really nervous
around hood people. Okay, I think that maybe people are kind of being a little bit too offended. I think everybody's inclined to their own opinion, but I'm just saying, I feel like when I'm looking at her, I'm about to be judgy. I'm not gonna say what I was thinking, but maybe I'm not the only person that's thinking this. But I do kind of feel like she's one of those type of people. Just looking at her, I don't know. I feel like she might be one of those people that be like, she thinks she's better than other people. And she might not be saying it from the aspect of like, I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to understand both sides. She might be saying it from the aspect that she just don't like people who are from the hood, who grew up in a certain type of way because she's better than them. Or she might be saying, I don't like people who are hood people, because they could be dangerous. They're more likely to be dangerous because there's being hood people and there's being people from the hood. Not everybody from the hood is bad, but there's a certain aspect. There's like a certain type of stereotype that's around hood people. But it's really funny, or very not funny as much as it's very interesting how people really like embody and take pride in being from the hood. I mean, because that's where they're from. They're from the hood, so there's nothing to be ashamed of the way that you grew up. Some people grew middle class and they're ashamed to be from middle class because they're not hood enough. And you consider Oreo. And there's some people who are from the hood, but they don't act proper enough. So, but should these people be afraid or ashamed to admit where they're from? It's the way that you use where you come from to your advantage to build and become a better person. But I do feel like we need to maybe come up with a different term, because I just feel like calling yourself hood is not a good way to present yourself. I think that we need to come up with, maybe we just didn't come from the most privileged of circumstances, but embodying being hood isn't the way to go. You gotta come up with a different term than just calling yourself hood. Like, we gotta come up with something else. I don't know what the way to explain it, but we just gotta come up with something else, man. Because I just feel like that just brings down your frequency. Like, that's true. That is true. That is true. I remember when I was I was 7 years old, and I had moved to California, and I went to a school. It was a very nice school, so nice private school, and I was like the only black kid. There was like only one other black kid, but I don't think they were in my class. But in my class, I was the only black kid. And, I felt very uncomfortable even at that young age of 7. It's very interesting. Even wherever you go, like, it's like you're always looking to make sure there's other black people around you. There's just some type of security in that feeling. With being around other black people. I don't know, that's just a natural thing. Maybe I don't see that's anything to be ashamed of. Okay, this music be scaring me because it's so loud. I'm becoming more and more of a Karen every day. People being loud, I'm staring at you like you're insane. You're participating in hooligan activities, no decorum. I'm judging very hard, clenching my bag, and I might even call the manager if I'm feeling spicy. I mean, it's very interesting. Why is this something that somebody's afraid to mention? Are we not supposed to be like? I think this is where I'm going to stop this and actually start talking. I think I had to look at something. Oh, pause. I think one of the biggest issues here isn't necessarily just being afraid to admit something as black. The big issue here is, why are we accepting this as okay in the black community? Why is it that this is something to be ashamed of admitting? Like, why should you be ashamed of like looking at somebody making a bunch of noise? Like, why is it that we're supposed to accept that? Why is it that there's like improperness, this just acting crazy? Why is it that we're supposed to, just because somebody black, like that's supposed to be our culture? That ain't our culture, bro. Acting crazy ain't your culture. Acting like you ain't got no home training and sense ain't our culture. That's why these young kids are getting crazy and crazy. I saw a video off of Instagram where some dude was saying that they can't talk to these young kids no more. They too off. They crazy like that. He had to get, to deal with, because they ain't gonna fight you. They gonna use that against you. And it's like, that's because we've over here been accepting the wrong thing. Why are we accepting stuff that just makes no sense? Like, we supposed to just be cool with somebody looking suspicious. We supposed to just be cool with somebody acting a doggone fool. We supposed to be cool with people just being buck wild. And that kind of brings me to, what is something that I'm afraid to admit as a black person, but I'm not anymore. I don't think I've ever been afraid to admit this, but since we're here, I think that single moms play a huge part into why the black community is turning to garbage. What? I didn't used to always think that, but as I've gotten older and I've witnessed a lot of things just from being older. I'm not that old, y'all. I'm in my 20s, obviously. I'm not some elder, but the bit that I have seen in my 2 decades of life, I really have to come to the conclusion, because I didn't want to believe this, but single black women have destroyed our community. And because of women's choices and their partners, now these kids don't have fathers to teach them anything. And the mother is so unsupported to where she can't even be a good mom. And she's just maintaining the kids. The kids can't even get nowhere in their life because their moms never had stability. So when the kids get old enough to get a job, they're getting a job to support their family and to support their mom before they're able to even get on their feet. And it's like, it just keeps us in the cycle of always being down because the moms didn't make the right choice. When a mom doesn't make the right choice in a partner and she has kids with someone, those kids also taking that energy from that man. If that man wasn't good enough to marry you and be there for you, what the heck makes you think that man's genes, energy, vibe, presence is any good for the kids? It's like we keep ourselves in such a cycle to where we have to fight. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like, comment, subscribe. Let me know. Oh snap. Let me know what y'all feel like should be said about the Black community, but you're afraid to say in the comments below. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. Bye-bye.